Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. And ProChargeEV, ProChargeEV.com. Trivia Carter, good morning. Hope your Monday's off to a great start. Hope everybody had a great weekend, great Sunday. Yesterday, Saints win. They beat the Chargers 22-17. Late push by the Chargers, but the Saints were able to hold on. So, excuse me. A couple of really nice takeaways in the game. Jameis Winston looked good. And I thought Kendre Miller was probably the biggest takeaway. You're going to look at 10 carries for 23 yards and the score and think, and not much. Well, one of those was a 1-yard touchdown run. Or it wasn't a 1-yard touchdown. It was a short touchdown run anyway. Let's see. Touchdown run was from... Well, sorry, it was a 7-yard touchdown run. I sold him short. And the touchdown run came one play after Miller made a beautiful diving catch on a wheel route from Winston down the left sideline, dropped in a bucket. It was a beautiful throw, beautiful catch, full extension laying out for you. One of the things we'd asked about with Kendre Miller was, could Miller could he catch out of the backfield? Such a key part of what the Saints do with their running backs. And it's just something he didn't do at TCU in college. They just didn't throw him the football. So it's not. So the question was, could he? It wasn't that he can't. It's just that he never had to before. So how it worked? Worked pretty well yesterday. So for example, here it is. Miller in his TCU career. Here's his receptions. As a freshman, he had 1. As a sophomore, he had 12. As a junior, he had 16. So the most catches he had in a season at TCU was 16. For his entire 3-year career at TCU, 29 receptions. In 3 years, 29 receptions. So they just didn't throw him the ball. Well, yesterday, beautiful full extension layout catch. Blake Grupe, also, I would say, continues to prove, I get it's preseason, man, but that kid is nails. Hit a field goal on the last play of the first half, which was his second of the half, and then Will Lutz kicked in the second half. So Grupe actually kicked the first half, Lutz kicked the second half. And Lutz made 3. He did make one from 51 yards, which is great to see. And maybe Blake Grupe is just pressuring Will Lutz. And maybe that pressure, that competition has been a good thing for Will Lutz. But another nice showing by Blake Grupe. Peyton Turner with a forced fumble on a beautiful blitz. Got in there, pressured, knocked the ball out. Brian Brzee recovered. So the sequence was Peyton Turner forced fumble, Brian Brzee fumble recovery, deep pass to Kendre Miller, who then scored the rushing touchdown. So it was good to see. Good to see. All right, y'all. Let's say some good mornings here. See what y'all got. Kelly Gross, Bubba Smith, good morning. Vernell Thomas, good morning. What did you think about the Saints picking up Greedy Williams? I think our defense played better yesterday against Chargers, second team defense. I did like how Jalen Smith played. That's true. Jalen Smith early in the game was really good. You know what, man, Vernell, I don't necessarily Miller scored. I said Miller scored. Miller caught the deep ball and then scored in the next play. I don't think the Saints need cornerbacks. Well, not that I don't think. They don't need cornerbacks. Meaning, where do you have room for Greedy Williams or any cornerback? You know what I mean? That's just one place where they are super deep and talented. So, all about bringing the LSU guys home, man. I don't know how Greedy fits, though, how any cornerback tries to make this team with the numbers you already got. Debbie Jenkins, good morning. Let's see, Larry Garner, I am him, good morning. Matt Plavidal, good morning. Can't believe college football is almost here. Yeah, man, how about it, y'all? Week 0 this weekend. So you got college football this weekend, including Navy against Notre Dame in Dublin. And then a whole bunch of other games nobody really cares to see, except you do get to see Southern Cal this week. So USC will play on Saturday night on the Pac-12 network, which nobody has. Again, it's against San Jose State, but you still get to see Caleb Williams. And then there is also Hawaii Vanderbilt this weekend. So if you are an over 3.5 better for Vanderbilt on their win total, that's one you got to go get. So I think bettors will be interested. Louisiana Tech plays this week as well. So year 2 of the Sonny Cumbie era. They're at home against FIU. So hopefully the Bulldogs get off to a good start this weekend as well. Randall Offreg, morning, Matt. What is it about Dennis Allen coach team that will just always have 9 penalties a game? Brother, they didn't have 9 penalties a game. I lost count at 12. They finished with, and this was a problem, they had 2 touchdowns negated on the same drive. You want to look at an overt negative? That's one. And it was Brian Edwards, who had 2 penalties for OPI on the same drive that negated touchdowns, and the drive ended up ending in a field goal. So, yeah, man, no bueno. Team stats for the Saints, they finished with 14 penalties for 141 yards. Hey, Dad, good morning. Brant Roban, morning. How much stock should a fan put in preseason play? Isn't it mainly second and third team for most of the games? Yeah, Brant. So, like, I'm trying to think of the only Saints starters who started the game yesterday. Like Trevor Penning started, and he might have been the only one on offense. The rest of the offensive line were backups. Kendre Miller started, so there was no Kamara, no Jamal Williams, no Michael Thomas, no Foster Moreau, no Jawan Johnson. Yeah, so I mean, it was basically all backups. Now you did see guys like Alontae Taylor on defense and Bradley Roby, who I just mentioned. Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus May did not dress. So yeah, so I mean, it was mostly backups playing. So it's not necessarily, I think, that you put stock into the game. I think preseason is for the guys who are trying to make the roster. So I would say you have roster spots 51, 52, 53. Like who's gonna pop, who's gonna pop and make the team? Like, A.T. Perry, for example, is a guy who shown you pretty much that he's gonna make this team. I'd be stunned at this point if A.T. Perry didn't make the team, right? Defensively, Ryan Connolly played another good game yesterday. I mean, if you're looking for where's your backup depth at linebacker going to come after the injury to Andrew Dowell, Ryan Connolly had 3 tackles, had a sack yesterday as well. So just kind of continues to make plays, which was great to see. Ugo Amadi, who had an interception last week, had 4 tackles in the game yesterday. Also returned punts for you. So another guy that's proven his value. That's really what it's for. Let's see. Brian Wynn, morning, Matt. Enjoyed watching the replay of the Bluegrass Miracle on SC Network last night. Very cool. Haven't seen that game in a while. Boy, that was not a fun game for the bulk of it, but what a finish. That would have been my junior year of college, and that is the only game I didn't go to. Because if you remember, it was a weird scheduling quirk where LSU played in Lexington consecutive years. So I went in 2001 to Lexington. They played there and they won on a late touchdown from Rohan David and Michael Clayton. And so they were going back in 2002, and I planned to go, but I had a like work banquet thing, and I was like, you know what? I went to Kentucky last year. I'll go to the work thing this year. And so I was at this awards banquet thing with a radio earpiece in my ear. One of those things is before Bluetooth, right? So it's like I had the radio in my jacket pocket, up through the arm, and then up, listening to the game. And after Kentucky made the field goal to take the lead, which looked like it was going to end it, I turned it off and I walked out. And a couple minutes later, I hear people in the lobby because it was at the hotel, which is now the Marriott, was I think the Hilton at the time. And I just heard people screaming, and I ran, and they're like, what happened? And they're like, we won. I'm like, you better not be bleeping with me. And so, of course, saw the replay and saw what happened. Eric Waterrider, good morning. Hainer getting banged up got me thinking, is the best case scenario actually him going on IR, save the roster spot while retaining control? Maybe, Eric. That's not unheard of. To put, to sort of stash a player by putting them on IR, but if that's the case, they can't practice. So, you want him working and getting better. So there's a little bit of a double-edged sword there. Spurge, good morning. Like what Hainer did with the threes. Jake Hainer looked good, man. Both quarter. Well, I mean, he got hurt, and then Winston had to go back in. Then Hainer. I'm glad Hainer was okay. Went back in, but yeah. Alex DeVilliers, good morning. Lars Corville, Bryant, and Ruffino have me panicked about LSU cornerback. Who are Bryant and Ruffino? As far as LSU's cornerback, I'll say what I've said all along. I think your first two are good. Zy Alexander and Deuce Chestnut have played really well. They've gotten better throughout fall camp. Been out there every media availability we've had. And I think your real question is your depth. So with those two guys out there, you feel good. If you have to rotate to LaTerrence Welch or Ashton Stamps or Denver Harris, there's a big old Rottweiler in my yard. That was weird. That's where I think your question comes in, is your depth. Alex DeVilliers, let's see, Weston Weaver, good morning. Stepping into a new season of life today. Our middle child is going to pre-K. Okay, Weston, that's great, man. Hope the drop-off goes fine. Hope there's no tears. Hope everybody's just super happy and has a great day, man. Joey Metke, Cliff Nelson, Pat Huseman, good morning. Jason H., Wendell Norman, what's up? Bailey C., Jamison Kroll were bad. Foskey getting chewed out was justified. Wait, you thought Jamison Kroll were bad? I mean, Lucas Kroll made, maybe you mean bad by meaning good. Lucas Kroll made probably the catch of the game. I mean, Jameis threw probably an ill-advised ball, but he let his guy go make a play, and Kroll fought through and made a catch through two dudes. It's pretty awesome. Edward O. Miller looked good. Kamara 2.0. Hey, man, that's what I've said since they drafted him. I mean, they drafted him to be the Alvin Kamara role in this offense. There's a really good chance, if you look at his contract, that this is Alvin Kamara's last year in New Orleans. Now, they could bring him back next year, certainly, but the way that they restructured his deal is that they can off-ramp after this season. So, if you have another year where Kamara is banged up and doesn't produce at a high level, you can move on from Kamara, and then you'd have Jamal Williams in the second year of his deal next year, along with Kendre Miller. And I mean, I believe that's the plan. Now, if Kamara is awesome, great. That's a really good problem to have. Do you think DA was yelling at Edward, screaming he's taking a different plane home? Tiger Diver, good morning. What's the radio schedule when Football Friday starts up? The only thing that changes is Ott and Hanny extend an hour to 10 a.m. So off the bench, 7 to 10. Live at lunch, 10 to 1. Hunt, 1 to 3. AFR, 3 to 6. And then after AFR, it'll be Louisiana Prep preview, and then Catholic High football. All right, smash that like button if you would. Appreciate y'all for being here as always. Jason H., good morning. Did you see the beautiful pass from Winston and Miller out of the backfield? Yeah, man, talked about it kind of as we started here. And remember, when looked it up, the question about Kendre Miller was, could he catch? He only had 29 career receptions at TCU. 16 last year was his most in a season. So, yes, absolutely. It was a big question of how he could do catching the ball in the backfield, and that was pretty. Cajun Country, good morning. Getting answers about the start of football. Devin Johnson, good morning. Kerry Hughes, think they signed Nico Lalos. I don't, Kerry. Hey, Rebecca Claire, good morning. Who makes the team at linebacker, I think, is going to be really interesting. Obviously, you've got your first two guys that you know, with Demario Davis, Pete Werner. Jalen Smith is going to make the team. But how many linebackers are they going to keep? You've got Lalos, you've got Nephi Sewell, you've got Connolly, who I mentioned, Summers, and Anthony Orji, who was the second highest graded defensive rookie by PFF and the entire league last week. So it'll be interesting to see how those roster spots get divvied up. Eric Waterrider, appreciate all the camp coverage this year. It's been awesome to hear. Curious if you enjoy covering practices or if it's necessary evil of the gig. No, Eric, it's cool. Like, listen, I am not going to complain ever about access, because for so long, I had this conversation with Michael Bonnet, the SID, last week, because some of the people out there complain it's hot, you're sweating. I mean, look, if they let us go stand out there for 2 hours, I mean, we're just outside in 105 degree weather for 2 hours, just sweating, right? But I will never complain about that, because Les never gave us any access. Ed gave us more access than Les did, but it still wasn't much. To get to go out and watch an hour, 2 hours, to go watch a scrimmage in Tiger Stadium, I mean, that stuff's unheard of in college football. So, yeah, man, I mean, I'm thrilled to get to see it, because it helps me do my job better. I mean, I'm giving you firsthand accounts of things that I've seen. I'm basing opinions off of things I've seen, instead of having to go, talk to this guy, talk to that guy. Where can I get a morsel of information? Can I get some practice footage I'm not supposed to see that I get to watch and then talk about without telling you I got to see practice footage? I mean, which is all stuff I've done over the years. It's just way better. Hey, I saw 2 hours of practice today. Here's what I saw, So yeah, I'm down with it. Damon Gilmore, Brandon Tilley, good morning. Jacob Battles. Does it upset you Michael Thomas never scored more than 9 touchdowns in a single season and get paid for personal success, but Jimmy Graham scored over 10 touchdowns in a year for us 3 times? No, Jacob, because I don't think anybody would argue that Michael Thomas was. I mean, he won the most outstanding offensive player in the NFL. And that was the year after he got his contract. Michael Thomas's production was incredible. And the Saints never struggled with scoring touchdowns. Yes, Graham was a great red zone target, and there was no bigger Jimmy Graham fan than me. Like, I thought for what he was in Sean Payton's offense, it was so vital, and as evidenced by the fact that they never replaced him. They tried. They went and got Kobe Fleener. They brought back Ben Watson. They tried Jared Cook. They had drafted Adam Troutman. They tried. Well, they tried and tried and tried to find that guy in the offense again and couldn't. So, there's great value in Jimmy Graham, but the two aren't mutually exclusive. Like, Michael Thomas at the time deserved the contract he got, and Jimmy Graham was also a great player. Peyton Morvant, Brett DeGrow, Matt Plavidal, good morning. Smash the like button, like E-Rock says.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Jonathan Martin, morning Scone, Nick Lolos in the backfield game. You think he could be a legit rotation piece? So, Jonathan, you're the second person. Carrie asked about Lolos earlier. And we didn't even mention Zach Bond, too, who continues to be completely lost and overshadowed, which I don't know how they continue to justify keeping him, but we'll see. So, linebacker, I think, is going to be a spot where that third preseason game is going to matter tremendously, because it's going to be not only playing linebacker, but also special teams. It's how you make the team. And Andrew Dowell's injury is unfortunate, but that does open up a roster spot, right, for somebody. So, Tim Gotro, Chris P. Reed Rule, good morning, y'all. Good morning, y'all. Smash that like button. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Eric Hart, morning, Matt. Still doing LSU pregame this year? No, Eric, I haven't done pregame in 2 years. Thanks for noticing, bud. No, man, we last year Hanny and Musso did pregame live at Rouse's. So my only game day responsibility, as far as broadcast, is whiskey and wine with T-Bob afterwards. Charlie Cavell, Brian Broom, Bob Poole, Alton Trahan, or Trahan, good morning. Vernell Thomas, I must say, if A.T. Perry doesn't get on the 53, I'll be a little upset. Oh, Vernell, A.T. Perry's making the 53-man roster. I mean, they used a draft pick on him. It's very clear that he is a more than capable receiver at this level. You know, the thing that I'll say about preseason games is most of the guys playing in preseason games are guys that are going to get cut, right? So it's guys that are, what's the phrase? They'll be selling insurance next week, right? So when you have someone in a preseason game that consistently stands out, you go, oh, okay, that's different. So anyway, A.T. Perry is that guy. He's going to make the team. So, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, although he's been injured, would seem to have a roster spot locked up. They know what he can do. And then after that, I would tell you A.T. Perry would be my fourth, the first guy after those three that I would say has a roster spot. And then the question is, do you keep 5 or 6 receivers? And a lot of that really depends on what people can do in special teams. Eric, I had a 2 to 3 month old last football season. Didn't get a lot of pregame in, my bad. Eric, it's all good, bro. Eric, I do not expect you or anybody to know my daily schedule. I do a lot of media. So no, it's all good, bro. It's all good. Jacob Willis, good morning. Vernell Thomas, Trevor Penning was looking real suspect. That's why he needs the reps, man. Boy, the sack he gave up, I guess it wasn't a sack, it was a TFL. In the first quarter was awful. He just olayed. It was like, oh God, on an island. Anyway, yeah, man. But he's also done a lot of really good. But he needs work. It's why he's playing a lot in this preseason. Devin Kelly, good morning, boys. In my Twitter voice, yes sir. Excellent Varsity Blues reference. All right, any more? Will the Saints sign an emergency quarterback for this week? Maybe, Reed. That's an interesting thought. to have somebody else, but you should be able to make it through the preseason game with two guys. Antron Hemingway, good morning. How are you and the fam doing? We're good, man. Out of town, didn't get a chance to see the Saints. They did win. They won 22-17. So they led the whole way. Had a 2-score lead. Chargers scored a late touchdown, and the Saints held on 22-17. Wacky Chris, good morning. Thoughts on how the Saints defense as a whole played through 2 preseason games? Yeah, man, I don't worry about the defense, man. There are legit questions in that front seven because of a lot of new pieces. I think the secondary is fantastic. I think you finally have a really nice rotation on the interior. Losing Onyemata and Kentavious Street and Shai Tuttle hurts, no doubt. But you went and signed Colin Saunders, who's played really well. I think adding Brzee, Brzee looked pretty good yesterday, I thought. Look at defensive end. It was nice to see Isaiah Foskey get a pressure and kind of flash for the first time in this preseason. Tano Passanio had a pass deflected at the line. When you're 6'7", that's what you expect, right? Get your hands up in the air, knock balls down. He did. You know what you're going to get from Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson's your other starter. So I like him, man. I think the defense will be fine. Jason H. Curry was calling plays last night. I didn't hear that Curry was calling plays last night. Leon Williams, good morning. He might have, but then again, I was watching the game, and we were at Erica's folks' house for her sister's kind of birthday party, and it was a little loud, so I wasn't really locked in all the commentary. So they might have announced that. I didn't hear it if they did. So, all right, y'all, I think we're done. Do me a favor, please smash that like button if you're there on YouTube. Facebook, please subscribe on YouTube. Facebook, please like the Matt Moscone page, share the post. We appreciate y'all for being here every single day. Chris asked, do you think the Saints replace Traquan Smith? If they do, it would be about 5 years too late, brother. But, they love him for his ability to block or whatever. But anyway, I would kind of prefer a receiver be able to catch. Anyway, Matt McGuire, good morning. All right, y'all, we are done. Thanks for being here, y'all. Have a great day. I'll get you LSU Daily coming up later. Jay Johnson meets with the media today at noon to introduce the new assistant baseball coaches. So look forward to that. And then AFR at 3. We'll have Corey Webster in studio with us on AFR at 4 o'clock. So in hour number 2, looking forward to that. All right. Y'all have an awesome day, and we'll see you. Peace.